What's up, Facebook? It's your boy Trey Larkins with Wise Guys Sports. Everybody go and follow Wise Guys on Twitter at Wise Guys _H. Also on Facebook, Wise Guys. Be sure to follow Wise Guys on Instagram at These Guys Know Sports. It's Wednesday, May the 28th. Before I get into my Game 4 recap of the Knicks Pacers Game 4 from last night, I want to be sure to let everybody know. Don't forget, this Monday, June the 2nd, the Not Boxed In podcast with myself and Cincinnati Bearcats legend Melvin Levitt. We will be at Park Place in Forest Park, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. That's the Not Boxed In podcast with myself and Melvin Levitt in Park Place in Forest Park, discussing all the latest in sports news, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. So be sure to come and check us out. Any sports topics you want to discuss, we could talk about it at Park Place Monday night, 7 p.m. to 8 to 9 p.m. The Not Boxed In podcast with myself and Melvin Levitt. So, as I watched the matchup last night between the Knicks and the Pacers, obviously the Pacers beat the Knicks 130 to 121. Tyrese Haliburton had 32 points, 12 rebounds, 15 assists. The Pacers lead the Eastern Conference Finals 3-1. So for me, my biggest takeaway from the Eastern Conference Finals so far, especially as I watched Game 4, my biggest takeaway was whoever the hell were the players who voted Tyrese Haliburton as the most overrated star, they need to be exposed. They need to be exposed on this Wednesday, May the 28th. I watched Game 4 last night between the New York Knicks and the Indiana Pacers, and Tyrese Haliburton was the best player on the floor. 32 points, shooting 11 of 23 from the floor, 12 rebounds, 15 assists. And the thing is, that was a tremendous triple-double from Tyrese Haliburton. He's the first player in NBA history with a 30-point triple-double with 0 turnovers. That honestly is the most important piece to that stat line. The 32 points is impressive. The 12 rebounds is impressive. The 15 assists is impressive. But for Tyrese Haliburton to not have a single turnover, and it's not like he's not taking risk. He takes risk. The Pacers have a fast, up-tempo offense, and Haliburton is their point guard who pushes the pace and is the quarterback of their offense. And for him not to have a single turnover all game long is an amazing performance from Tyrese Haliburton. I mean, the triple-double alone with the 32 points, 12 rebounds, and 15 assists, that alone is an elite performance. But you top that off with the fact that Tyrese Haliburton didn't have a single turnover last night. That was an extremely impressive performance from Tyrese Haliburton. And whoever the hell said Tyrese Haliburton is overrated, they need to be exposed. They need to be exposed. And you can make a legitimate argument that Haliburton, hearing that he was the most overrated star in the NBA, that has motivated not only him, but the entire Indiana Pacers basketball team. And they are now 1 win away from their first NBA Finals appearance since 2000. So, to me, watching Game 4, as great as Jalen Brunson was, and Jalen Brunson played well last night. 31 points, shot 9 of 19 from the floor, 5 assists. Tyrese Haliburton was the best player, not only on the Indiana Pacers, but in the entire game. He was the best player on the floor last night. He's been the best player in these Eastern Conference Finals. It's that simple. Pascal Siakam also had a great performance. He had 30 points, 5 rebounds, but Tyrese Haliburton has really, really elevated his game. I'm not ready to say he's a superstar yet, but he is definitely trending in that direction. He's really trending in that direction. Duh, what you mean, duh? People were sleeping on Tyrese. People been sleeping on Haliburton. They really, really have. Let's not act like Tyrese Haliburton has been this proven star over the last few years. He was voted the most overrated star in the NBA. But again, whoever the hell said that Haliburton was overrated, they should be exposed. Put your name on it. That's what I want. Put your name on it. I hate when we be having these anonymous players, coaches, people in these organizations in sports when they say quotes or they vote on different things and they're anonymous. Put your name on it. Add an address to it so we can know who the hell is saying or making these quotes or voting on these particular things. He has been a star. He waiting in that status or title. He did shit like this last year. Yeah, but we still got questions about Tyrese Haliburton. Like, Tyrese Haliburton has not been as proven as other point guards. We're not about to sit up here and act like Haliburton has been a proven point guard in the NBA. Like most people are taking John Morant over Tyrese Haliburton. I'm still taking Steph Curry over Tyrese Haliburton, and I love Tyrese. But let's not act like Tyrese Haliburton has been this proven star in the NBA. Like, we really just now paying attention to how good Haliburton really is. We just now really paying attention. And so for me, my biggest takeaway from game 4 was Tyrese Haliburton was the best player on the floor. But also, I said before game 4, one of the things that makes the Knicks special is the Knicks, they are not as talented as the Pacers are. The Knicks are not as talented as the Timberwolves are. The Knicks are not as talented as the Thunder are. But the Knicks close quarters well, and they are a mentally tough basketball team. They are a mentally tough team. But in game 4, the opposite happened. I thought the Indiana Pacers, they closed quarters well in game 4. They ended the first quarter on a 12-5 run. They ended the second quarter on a 6-0 run. They ended the third quarter on a 9-4 run. So everything that the Knicks did prior to game 4, by ending quarters well and staying in games, that's exactly what the Pacers did in game 4. Ending the third quarter on a 9-4 run, the second quarter on a 6-0 run, the first quarter on a 12-5 run. Okay? So the Pacers did a tremendous job ending quarters last night. And that's another thing that I've noticed in these NBA playoffs. These NBA playoff games are long. They are long. So even if you are trailing or if you get outplayed for 7 or 8 minutes in a quarter, you still have an opportunity late in quarters to close the quarter well and be within striking distance. And that's exactly what the Knicks have done so far in these NBA playoffs. I feel like the Knicks have trailed by double digits multiple times in the NBA playoffs, and they ended quarters extremely well, and they stayed within striking distance. And that's the biggest reason why they were able to overcome 3 20-point deficits in the playoffs so far. They overcame 2 20-point deficits in games 1 and games 2 against the Celtics in the conference semifinals, and they overcame a 20-point deficit in game 3 against the Pacers in the first half. And that's why the Knicks are in this position. But with all that being said, watching game 4, I thought not only was Tyrese Haliburton great, but the Knicks, they did not get back defensively. The Pacers outscored the Knicks 22-6 in fast break points. So we talked about coming into this series how whichever team is able to establish the type of pace they want to play at, that's the team that's going to win this series. The Knicks want to play a slow pace, in a slow tempo type of game and have Jalen Brunson bring them home in the fourth quarter with an elite fourth quarter performance. That's how they have won games. The Pacers, on the other hand, they want to get out in transition and run in the open floor with Haliburton, with Siakam, with Turner, with Naismith, with McConnell. They want to get out in transition and run. And last night in game 4, that's exactly what the Pacers did. The Pacers outscored the Knicks 22-6 in fast break points. But that ain't even the worst part for the Knicks. The Knicks had 17 turnovers in game 4. The Pacers had 20 points off Knicks turnovers. 20 points off Knicks turnovers, and the Knicks had 17 turnovers for the game. That's why the Pacers beat the Knicks last night in game 4, and that's why the Pacers are one win away from their first NBA Finals appearance since the year 2000. The Knicks had too many turnovers last night, and you can't turn the ball over against an elite offensive team like the Indiana Pacers. That was the biggest difference in the game. 20 points off turnovers. So not only are you turning the basketball over, you are giving the Pacers opportunities to run in the open court and have fast break opportunities. I thought that was also a key in game 3. And that was why the Knicks came back in game 3, because in the second half of game 3, the Knicks limited the Pacers' fast break opportunities. Like in game 3, the Pacers in the second half, they had to play in half-court sets. And sometimes the Pacers struggle when you force them to have to play in the half court. But when they can get out in the open court and get out in transition and play at a fast pace, that's when the Indiana Pacers are at their best, and that's when they are a extremely, extremely formidable team and a top contender in the NBA. And I feel like the Knicks allowed the Pacers to get out in transition in game 4, and the game got away from the Knicks. Look at the Pacers in game 3. In game 3, in the second half, the Pacers had 42 points in the second half, 42 points. In the first quarter of game 4, the Pacers had 43 points. So they had one more point in one quarter than they had in the entire second half of game 3. So I thought the Pacers, they came out, they had a lot of energy in the first quarter, and they scored 43 points in the first quarter, and that set the tone for the rest of the game. For the game, the Pacers had 29 assists. Haliburton had 15 of them. Haliburton had 15 of those 29 assists, so they were distributing the basketball amongst each other. Haliburton was setting players up like Siakam, like Turner, like Naismith to be able to get quality shots because he's putting them in positions to be successful. Like, I like Rick Carlisle as the head coach. Rick Carlisle is the head coach of the Indiana Pacers. Rick Carlisle is a proven head coach in this league, but Tyrese Haliburton is an extension of Rick Carlisle, and he is the quarterback of this Indiana Pacers offense. He's their quarterback. Tyrese Haliburton, what he is to the Indiana Pacers is what Patrick Mahomes is to the Chiefs. He's what Josh Allen is to the Buffalo Bills. He's what Joe Burrow is to the Bengals. Trust me, if the Indiana Pacers did not have Tyrese Haliburton, they would not be in this position to where they're one win away from the NBA Finals. Honestly, he's shown his value in the playoffs this year. He really, really has. He has shown his value significantly. Like, honestly, like, if you take Tyrese Haliburton off the Pacers, they would not be in the Eastern Conference Finals. The same could be said for Jalen Brunson in the Knicks. Okay? But, man, I last night, watching that game, I was just thinking to myself, like, man, like, Tyrese Haliburton has definitely heard his critics, and it has motivated him and the way he has performed in this playoffs, it's motivated him to have one of his best seasons as a player. And now he has his Indiana Pacers 1 win away from their first NBA Finals appearance since 2000. Another big key in Game 4 for me was bench points. In Game 4, the Knicks had 21 bench points. The Pacers had 36. So that also was another huge key for the Pacers winning this game. The Pacers outscored the Knicks bench by 15 points. 15 points. And I thought Mathurin, he came off the bench and had a huge impact in Game 4. He had 20 points alone for the Pacers. I think McConnell came in, he had 6 or 7 points. So Obi Toppin had, I think, 5 or 6 points. He hit a big three late. Obi Toppin hit a big three late that gave the Pacers a 10-point lead. I think the Pacers were up 7, but the Knicks were still within striking distance. Excuse me. I believe the Pacers were up 123 to 116, and Obi Toppin caught an inbounds pass from Haliburton and knocked down a three, and that was pretty much all she wrote. That gave the Pacers a 10-point lead, and they never looked back. So let's give the Pacers credit from a bench standpoint, because their bench came in and gave them a ton of energy, and they helped the Pacers have pretty much control majority of the game. The Pacers bench outscored the Knicks bench 36 to 21. So that also was a key factor in the Pacers beating the Knicks in Game 4. But also, I saw Cat. He injured his knee late in Game 4. So we don't know how healthy Cat is going to be in Game 5 in New York tomorrow night. If Cat does not play or he's not 100%, the Knicks will lose in MSG tomorrow night, and the Pacers will punch their ticket to the NBA Finals. Because I had the Pacers in 6 coming into this series, and I still believe the Knicks can win Game 5 back in New York in front of their home crowd. But if Cat is compromised and he's not 100%, or he cannot play at all, oh, this series will be over in 5 games. The Knicks not beating the Pacers without a healthy Karl-Anthony Towns. The Knicks will not beat the Pacers without a healthy Karl-Anthony Towns. So, Knicks fans, y'all better hope and pray that Cat is close to 100% as possible. If not, this series will be over tomorrow night in New York at Madison Square Garden. This series will not come back to Indiana. But even if the Knicks beat the Pacers in Game 5, they're not beating the Pacers in Game 6 in Indy. So I expect the Pacers to punch their ticket to the NBA Finals, whether it's in Game 5 or Game 6. And it's starting to become clear. The finals matchup will be Pacers and Thunder, and that's what we're headed for. We're headed for Pacers, Thunder, NBA Finals, because I think that series between the Wolves and the Thunder is also over. I expect SGA, Chet Holmgren, and Jalen Williams to take care of business tonight, and I expect the Thunder to send the Timberwolves on vacation, and it's 1-2-3 Cancun for Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle and the Minnesota Timberwolves crew. It's over. That series is over. So we are heading for a Indiana Pacers and Oklahoma City Thunder NBA Finals, and it's going to be an exciting matchup because the Pacers have elite offense. The Thunder play elite defense. SGA, Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren going up against Tyrese Haliburton, Pascal Siakam, and Evan Turner. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. But I think the Eastern Conference Finals and the Western Conference Finals both are officially over. And I think that if you are a Knicks fan, you are praying that Cat is healthy. Otherwise, Knicks fans will be going home highly disappointed in Game 5 because the Indiana Pacers will send them on their Cancun journey. But, man, watching Game 4, that was, honestly, that might have been the best performance that I have seen from Tyrese Haliburton in his career. That's how great he played yesterday. He played tremendous basketball, and he was the best player on the floor. Again, like I said earlier, Jalen Brunson had 31 points as well, but Jalen Brunson did not have the impact that Tyrese Haliburton had on the game last night in Game 4. Haliburton had a much bigger impact than Brunson had, and Haliburton, with his 12 rebounds and 15 assists, it was a sensational performance from Tyrese Haliburton. And we got to start mentioning Tyrese Haliburton in two ways. I'm going to give y'all 2 ways. Tyrese Haliburton is a top 5 point guard in the NBA. Let's get that out the way. He's also a top 10 player in the NBA. Now, where you rank Tyrese Haliburton amongst your top 10, that's to each his own. But I definitely feel like Haliburton has a legitimate case to be a top 10 player and a top 5 point guard right now in the NBA. Maybe top 3, depending on who you ask. Maybe. Seriously. That's how great Haliburton has been in these NBA playoffs for the Indiana Pacers. Like, I'm probably still going to take Steph Curry, obviously, over Haliburton. Ja Morant and Haliburton is a toss-up because I love Ja Morant. Ja Morant, unfortunately, has been dealing with a lot of injuries the last few years. But honestly, if we're being honest, injuries are a part of the game. And the last few years, Haliburton has performed better in the playoffs than Morant. I'm not saying Haliburton is better than Morant. I'm not there yet. I gotta see what Morant does when he comes back and he's healthy. Because we know what Ja Morant represents. We know what Ja Morant represents when he's healthy and playing at an elite level. But, man, this has been a tremendous performance from Tyrese Haliburton. And like I said, the triple-double alone is impressive. The 32 points, 12 rebounds, 15 assists. That alone is an impressive performance. But the most impressive stat on his stat line is the 0 turnovers. 0 turnovers, and you're the point guard for a team that has a fast, up-tempo offense. That is extremely, extremely impressive, and that was a brilliant performance from Haliburton. So those are my thoughts on Game 4. Heading into Game 5, one of the keys for the Knicks have to limit the Pacers' fast break opportunities. You can't allow the Pacers to have 22 points in fast break points, and you can't turn the ball over 17 times and allow the Pacers to have 20 points off your turnovers. The Knicks had 17 turnovers. The Pacers had 20 points off Knicks turnovers. 20 points. That's the game in a nutshell. If you want to know who won Game 4, just go look at fast break points and go and look at points off turnovers. The Pacers had 20 points off Knicks turnovers. That's the game. That's it. That's it. But man, I know it's gonna be a sad summer for Stephen A, Tracy Morgan, Ben Stiller, Patrick Ewing, Melo, J.R. Smith, Walt Frazier, and the crew. Fat Joe, so many Knicks fans out there. It's gonna be a sad summer. But on the bright side, the Knicks overachieved this year. The Knicks overachieved. Let's be honest. Coming into the playoffs, nobody outside of the city of New York had the Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals. Nobody had the Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals. Most people, conference finals predictions were Cavs and Celtics. Either the Cavaliers or the Celtics were most people's picks to represent the East in the NBA Finals. Nobody had the Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals. So honestly, if you're a Knicks fan, you have to be happy with the type of season your New York Knicks have had. The Knicks overachieved this year. They overachieved. Now, the thing is, and I know this is going to be controversial, but I don't give a damn. It's the truth. And I'm just being real. This is not y'all know I'm a Jason Tatum fan. I'm an unapologetically Jason Tatum fan. I like Tatum and I like Jaylen Brown as well. But OKC, it really, really helped OKC once the Knicks eliminated the Celtics. I'm going to say it again. The team that really, really got help and it benefited them, benefited, not really a word, but y'all know where I'm going with it. The team that really benefited the most from the Knicks beating the Celtics were the Thunder. And let me explain why. The NBA is all about matchups. I believe that the only team remaining in the NBA playoffs, once it was down to the final eight, once the Thunder beat the Nuggets, to me, the only team that was left that could beat the Thunder were the Celtics. Because the way the Celtics play, despite how elite the Thunder's defense is, I believe the Celtics' elite perimeter shooting would offset the Thunder's elite defense. Let me say it again. The Celtics' elite perimeter shooting would offset the Thunder's elite defense. So once we got to the conference finals, I knew it was a great chance that the OKC Thunder were going to win their first championship in franchise history. I knew it. I said, oh, man, Thunder, Timberwolves, Pacers, Knicks, the Thunder about to win the NBA championship. So it's all about matchups. It's all about matchups, but that's another conversation for another day. I'll get into that at a later time. Everybody go and follow Wise Guys on Twitter and also on Facebook, Wise Guys, and Instagram as well, Wise Guys Sports. Don't forget, Monday, June the 2nd, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., the Not Boxed In podcast with myself and Cincinnati Bearcats legend Melvin Levitt. We will be at Park Place, the Not Boxed In podcast, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. in Forest Park at Park Place. Not Boxed In podcast with myself and Melvin Levitt discussing all the latest in sports news and previewing the NBA Finals. But I believe that the conference finals are officially over. I expect the Pacers and the Thunder to take care of business, and we are on a collision course for a Indiana Pacers and Oklahoma City Thunder NBA Finals. But I do believe the Thunder lucked up as far as matchups in the NBA Finals. And yes, I believe that the Indiana Pacers are an easier matchup for the Thunder than the Boston Celtics. But it don't matter. The Celtics messed up against they messed up against the Knicks. JT ruptured his Achilles, and here we are. But I'm Trey Larkins from Wise Guys Sports signing off. I'll be back on tonight recapping the Timberwolves Thunder matchup in the Western Conference Finals in OKC tonight. It's game 5. I'll be back on later on tonight.